I want to concentrate a little bit on micronutrients, but I don't want to go through all of them. You can look in your book and also in your on the internet for all the different micronutrients that are vitamins and minerals and things that and which and why each one is important. I'm interested in iodine. We've had discussions about the foods we eat and diseases that are showing up more and more. And we keep talking about food additives as being the culprit and the way we eat. Well, it might be the way we eat, but maybe it's deficiencies and not additives. I've chosen 4 articles to highlight for you. I started using iodine, and this is sort of poetic justice because I have a little sore throat right now. I haven't been sick in 5 years, and I attribute that to the use of iodine to make sure that I use iodized salt, and I actually use tincture of iodine, and I put a little in my nose a couple times a week to try to boost my iodine. And maybe I'm living under the illusion that it's helpful, but I started to look up things about it. Iodine, the atomic number is 53, and the atomic weight on the average is 126, but there are a lot of isotopes, because otherwise the atomic weight would be 106, right? Yeah. Iodine 131 was prevalent for a long time after atomic bomb testing in the atmosphere, and iodine 131 was so abundant that iodine, tincture of iodine, was taken off the shelves in drugstores. But the half-life's pretty short, so it's back on the shelves again, and we haven't done any atomic bomb testing for a long time. And it's one of the reasons, we're really worried about Korea and Iran. We don't want other people doing what we did wrong. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So it was the radioactive compounds in the environment getting into children that led John Kennedy and Nikita Khrushchev to sign an arms treaty to ban atmospheric testing of nuclear weapons. So some people say, and there's an article I'm going to show you by Nancy Picone, or maybe it's Piccone, I don't know how to pronounce it. And she does a little review article talking about the silent epidemic of iodine deficiency. We knew years and years ago that iodine deficiency in the upper Midwest of the United States caused goiters. In fact, let me find goiters for you. And we want images. And there you go. Lots of wonderful goiters. When I was a child, it was no big deal to see, goiters in people all the time. I grew up in northern Illinois. Not in all people, but it was quite common to see them. It's gone now because the government said put iodine in your salt. And Morton salt complied, and our table salt contained iodine. And goiters disappeared from our population. Well, guess what? Goiter is actually a growth of the thyroid gland that's trying to produce enough thyroxine to regulate metabolism and doesn't have enough iodine, so it tries to overcompensate. Doesn't really work. Doesn't really work. So let's go back to this article. So it turns out the doctors are now starting to find deficiencies in iodine in our diets in the United States. So here are some facts. Iodized salt is the chief source of iodine in the industrialized world. Rates of iodine deficiencies have reached epidemic levels, increasing 4-fold after the past 40 years. Recent analysis reveals that many commercial table salt brands now contain inadequate amounts of iodine. It is critical to healthy thyroid function, and inadequate iodine causes weight gain, low energy, depression, cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and a variety of cancers. Iodine is vital to breast health in older women, with a low intake correlated to increased risk for breast cancer and fibrocystic breast disease. That's true. Iodine deficiency during growth and pregnancy causes cretinism and brain defects that are permanent. So you will get types of mental retardation that are forever. The article by the World Health Organization, WHO, is talking about iodine deficiency disorders. And there's a few facts. It is one of the main causes of impaired cognitive development in children. The number of countries where iodine deficiency is a public health problem has halved over the past. The number of countries where iodine deficiency is a public health problem has halved over the past decade, according to the new global report on iodine status. 54 countries are still iodine deficient. Efforts are required to strengthen sustainable salt iodization programs. So iodine deficiency disorders, IDD, which can start before birth, jeopardize children's mental health and often their very survival. Serious iodine deficiency during pregnancy can result in stillbirth, spontaneous abortion, and congenital abnormalities such as cretinism, a grave, irreversible form of mental retardation that affects people living in iodine-deficient areas of Africa and Asia. If you live near a seacoast and you eat a lot of seafood, you will have no problem because seafood is high in iodine. So iodized salt is the cheapest way to get it into populations of people. And nowadays, the companies are just not paying that much attention to their iodization of salt. And people are trying to reduce the salt in their diets, which also then reduces iodine. So there was more than one reason why iodine deficiencies is happening. Dr. David Brownstein talks about the anti-cancer agent iodine. He says iodine contains many cancer-fighting and cancer-preventing properties. Iodine has been shown to cause apoptosis, or cell death, in breast and thyroid cancer cells. Plus, iodine functions as both a strong antioxidant as well as an oxidant in the body. This means it gets rid of free radicals. This dual effect makes it a strong anti-cancer agent. That's because one of the best signs of health in your body is a balance between antioxidants and oxidants. Compounds like iodine can help maintain that balance and makes it one of the most powerful anti-cancer agents known. And here's a little testimonial. Joan, a 60-year-old English teacher, was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1989. She refused conventional therapy and looked for other options. She found a holistic doctor who recommended that she take 2 milligrams per day of iodine in addition to a regimen of vitamins and minerals. Well, unfortunately, the tumor metastasized in 2005, and she started to feel pretty sick. She lost 25 pounds. Well, then she got a prescription for iodine in a much higher form. And more recently, her PET scan showed that all of the existing tumors were disintegrating, particularly in their central areas. So what this means probably is that her immune system was killing the cancer, and that's one of the things your immune system does. A Dr. Circus, S-I-R-C-U-S, drcircus.com, talks about iodine therapy for diseases such as breast cancer and so forth. So this is another source. But he also says iodine attaches to insulin receptors and improves glucose metabolism, which is good news for people with diabetes. So there you have it. I guess people jump on bandwagons and want to think that something is a cure-all. I don't think iodine's a cure-all, but I do think that iodine is probably a very good thing to increase in your diet if you live in the upper Midwest. One way to do it is to buy iodine supplements. Another way to do it is to eat more iodized salt and make sure you buy iodized salt. Another way to do it is to go to the fish, increase fish in your diet, but make sure it's from the ocean, like haddock, pollock, salmon, not salmon from the Great Lakes, salmon from a marine environment. And that'll all help. I think that you'll be sick less often, you'll be healthier overall, and your children might even be smarter. Bunny knows. Look, Bunny gets iodine. I make sure she gets it. So, just a little something for you to consider. Thanks.